What's up, YouTube? We're out here at Joseph-Beth in Cincinnati, Ohio for an amazing opportunity to meet and greet Anthony Daniels at the signing for his new book, I Am C-3PO. So let's go see what all they have to offer. So when you first walk into Joseph-Beth, I have to say, it was one of the nicest bookstores I've ever been to, and they had some very nice displays set up for the I Am C-3PO book signing. A crowd quickly gathered at the store to meet Anthony Daniels, and it was full of all sorts of people, be it families to casual fans to hardcore cosplayers. It really was a great mix. I talked to one of the fans that was there named Roger. You're going to hear from him, and then we're going to go on to hear from Anthony Daniels. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm out here with Roger at the book signing. So, Roger, what have you been looking most forward to here?
Pretty much ask C-3PO where he got his red arm and why he's so excited about coming to Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's really nice that he was able to come here in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's kind of a weird stop, but I really appreciate it.
I do. This is one of his 3 stops, and I'm like, you know, why Cincinnati? But I'm flabbergasted that he would definitely come to Cincinnati because I love it. I was really upset when AMC didn't do the whole the movie marathon for this saga. They did it for 7, but they didn't do it for this one. But I'm super excited that he came here to do the book signing with us.
So, Roger, what was the moment for you that really got you into Star Wars?
Actually, I read a book called The Lost Tribe of the Sith a couple years back when I was bored at work. I loved it. It was short stories. It was like 9 books, and I went on to Legacy of the Force, and then Fate of the Jedi, and then after that I haven't stopped reading. I read 170-something books before Disney bought Lucasfilms, and they canned all that, turned into Legendary, and then I just started picking up more Star Wars books from them, so I mean, it just keeps going. I love reading books.
So over 170 Star Wars books, what recommendations can you give everyone out there?
Definitely read Fate of the Jedi. It's awesome. You kind of get a little gist of like maybe who Ben Solo was in the books. You know, there's just Jason. He does his thing, and there's so much stuff that everyone's a lot of people are upset about in the movies. But I mean, if you read some of the books, it's not a shock to you when it happens in the movies. Like the whole Leia using to make a force bubble in the scene that blew up, and just other things like that. It's really cool to see it on film, but it will shock a lot of people if you don't read a lot of books. So the expanded universe is great.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Roger. Guys, stay tuned for more great content. And now to hear from C-3PO himself, Anthony Daniels.
Please give a raucous welcome to tonight's author, Sir Anthony Daniels.
I wish you could all see this view from up here. How beautiful! I've got to say, first of all, hello, but a lovely welcome. But I'm not an author. I'm not an author. I just wrote a book about some of my stories in Star Wars and around Star Wars, and the people I've met, people like yourselves. Stories about the fans, the 501st, John Williams, all sorts of things about the films, but also things to do with the films. And I just wrote it. You've got lots of books here that have been written by proper writers. I can't even spell. Thank goodness for spell check. But I wondered, it's great fun, and I love the cover of the book, and it says what's on the cover. I am C-3PO, the inside story. So I wondered if there's anybody here who can speak loud enough and has a question that they'd like to ask me before we start signing. And there is a young man at the front here, and if you would say your question, and I'll repeat it.
As appropriate a title as this might be, I think I read somewhere that you had originally suggested an arguably more clever title.
Yes. Did I originally think of another title? I did, and they said, nobody will understand what you're talking about. And they may have been right. But the title I wanted to say was, Telling the Odds. Who didn't understand? You're all lying. I bet there's some people going, what's he talking about? Telling the odds. Because where's the line come from?
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds. What were the odds? 3,720 to 1. There we go. And what I wanted to imply, because I wrote a list of titles, you know, the man with the golden face, the man behind the mask, all that kind of thing. And then I came up with telling the odds, because finally 3PO was going to go to those humans who bullied him, ignored him, put him down, trivialized him for so many 3-4 decades. So finally he was going to get his own way. And they said, no, only Star Wars fans will understand. Well, you know, there's quite a few Star Wars fans. And all around the world. So, yeah, I still like that title, and secretly, so I may cross out the main title on your book and write it. I'm only kidding. Another question. Yes, young lady here.
Star Wars was such a touchstone for most of us in our childhood. What was your Star Wars movie when you were a boy?
Oh, what would be the equivalent of my Star Wars moment when I was a boy and I'm thinking rapidly on my feet? I don't know. It probably wasn't the movies. It was probably more something in the theatre that I would sit enchanted at the magic that happens live, unedited, because, you know, in a movie everything gets moved around, corrected, and sort of mushed up a bit, to a great effect. But there's something about live theatre that is very, very exciting. And in the middle of the night, I may remember what it was, and I will call you. Another question. I knew it, sorry. Somebody at the back, yes, sir, the young gentleman who possibly was there at the beginning, judging by the colour of your hair. Yeah, what was it? When we did the first movie back in 1975, did we realize that I would end up on a wonderful staircase? No, I don't have that kind of imagination. It's a truism that we thought, Carrie, Mark and myself and Harrison, all thought the film would never see the light of day, really. There's lots of films that never made it onto the screen. This one did. And I take enormous humility and joy in saying it was George Lucas who pushed his dream, and it's a lesson to all sorts of young people to do what you just got to go for it. You've got to push in spite of naysayers, and you could end up like George Lucas. Yeah. You got a young man with a Star Wars hat on. Yeah.
Why did you have to break up Han Solo's and Princess Leia's kiss?
How old are you? You're 9. You're 9. How old was Anakin? Because he was the same little evil kid like that. I can't believe you said that. For those who didn't hear, what's your name?
Tyler.
Tyler, who's 9 years old, wanted to know, why did I have to break up the kiss between Han Solo and Princess Leia? Really? Was it PG-13? I think it was the original. I tell you what, Tyler, 3PO is an example of somebody who is socially awkward in society. He doesn't kind of get the normal relationships between platonic relationships, or in this case, possibly not platonic relationships. He doesn't get that. And that has been wonderful, because there are people, real people in the real world, who also are a bit socially awkward. And I've learned that they kind of relate to 3PO quite easily and with great fondness. They see him as a fellow traveller. Why did he have to break it up? Because it was funny. Yes, sir.
What was it like working with the Muppets?
What was it like working with the Muppets? I adored it. It was just magical, because I knew them all as a viewer. I never, ever in my early years thought I would be on a Muppet show. So when I was there and I was next to Kermit and I was with Miss Piggy and all the other wonderful creatures, it was like, it was just living the dream, really. And of course it's so funny because a lot of those characters, you know, are on the end of somebody's arm, and it's a little trick that you have to forget that there's a man here standing below you, and you are talking to his fingers that are wagging. But he used your imagination. I would do that again. Almost even better was being on Sesame Street after that. What a gorgeous team that is. Another question. Yes, sir.
What are some of the differences you found of being in the suit in the contemporary movies compared to the original?
Difference in being in the suit in the contemporary movies, as we put them, which anybody going to see The Rise of Skywalker and
Yeah! Woo!
And of course, you do know that this book. Did you know I'd written a book? Did somebody tell you? Oh right, I wrote a book. I do talk about episode 9 because I've been writing this for over a year, and eventually I realized one of the reasons I'm doing it now is because yes, the 3 trilogies have happened. The Skywalker story is coming to an end, to a closure, if you will. And so I felt able to do that. And of course, one of the things that happened in these new films is when JJ asked me if I would like to be in Force Awakens, I said yes. I would like a new suit too. Sure. Of course he would, you know, because he wasn't paying for it. It didn't work. So one of the best thing is the way it fixes together, which means I can come in and out of it with greater speed and greater frequency. It's been a big help. So another question? Yes, you're right, Tyler. Yes.
Which Star Wars film is your favorite?
Which is my favorite? Well, okay, hands up here. Whose favorite was number 1? Number one. Anybody? Oh, come on. Number 1. What was it called? The what? Phantom Menace. Who liked Phantom Menace? Yeah. Oh, don't be shy. Because the Phantom Menace was how many years ago? What, 30 years ago? People now of an age adore that film as being the first film they may have seen. Who liked, what was the second film?
Attack of the Clones.
What?
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. Yeah, cool, really good. Who liked Revenge of the Sith? Oh, you see, you like all that mean stuff. And who liked episode 4? And who liked The Empire Strikes Back? Yes, because all the intelligent people like it. True. And then of course we had Return of the Jedi. Who liked that? Yeah, you liked the Ewoks, did you? Never mind. It was fun. And then of course we had the Force Awakens. Yeah, people not sure. Yeah, okay. And what was the other one? The Last Jedi. Yeah. Who's going to like? Wait for it. Who's going to like The Rise of Skywalker? Well, I don't know why you say that, because you haven't seen it. I've seen chunks of it, and I've acted in chunks of it, and I've been all over this planet doing it. And all I can say is I hope you like it. Because I do. And J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, the writer. Chris, I don't know if you saw a film Argo many years ago. I adore that film. Chris is steeped in the lore of Star Wars, so I think you're in good hands. One last question. Yes, young lady.
Which location of all, you've been around the world filming these movies, which location was your favorite?
Which location was my favorite? Because yes, I have been in a chunk of places, not in the snowfields in Hoth. They worked out that I wouldn't function very well. So I didn't go there. And of course I've been in Tunisia, the planet Tatooine, and I've been in Yuma, standing in for Tunisia, and sand, not my favorite. If you're a droid, you don't like sand. But we did just go to another desert, and that was in Jordan, which was a glorious experience, and I would like you all to go to Jordan and walk around in the desert there in Wadi Rum. it was an extraordinary experience. And as I say in the book, did you know I've written a book? Because I have. In the book, I talk about being interested in doing Star Wars in the first place because of Ralph McQuarrie's painting of the character. And not until we arrived in the desert in Jordan did I see a desert with rocky escarpments that looked like his painting. It was really quite creepy. It had taken all these years to get to my beginning again. Quite strange. Well, I'm going to thank you for being such a lovely crowd down here. It's a really beautiful view. And then we're going to kind of line up somewhere and I'm going to autograph your book. If you don't mind, I won't have very much time to say, so, how is it for you, right? Oh, you'd like me to write out my favorite line from the movie, and all that kind of thing, because it all takes too long. And I have to go to San Francisco tomorrow at 5 o'clock, because I have to do some more work on the movie. Can you believe that? You know, JJ is like a naughty school kid, you know, handing in his assignment right at the last minute. Trust me, believe me. So were we going to play some kind of thing? We're going to take a picture of me.
After he gave his talk, we got to meet the legend himself, Anthony Daniels. It was an absolutely amazing and humbling experience. He was an absolutely fantastic guy, and I am so honored to have been able to meet him. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more great content. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you.